Señoras y señores, bienvenidos a mi canal. Es un placer estar de vuelta con ustedes. Hoy les traigo una invitada que es una excelente actriz y nuevamente uno de los invitados de los personajes de Resident Evil. Ella es la protagonista y el personaje principal de este juego, en realidad de dos juegos, Resident Evil 7 y Resident Evil 8. Ella hace el papel de miawinters, así que bueno, la vamos a presentar. She's the one and only Katie O'Hagan. Welcome.
Hello. Hi, guys. Thank you for reaching out.
Awesome. I love your shirt, by the way. You have a nice...
Thank you. Thank you. Very excited. A fan actually sent it to me. They knew I loved Disney and villains, especially the Queen. So it's very, very sweet of them.
Okay. So I'm going to start with the first question. How did you decide that acting was your thing, and why did you choose this career?
I actually, from a young age, loved theater. So I was in music class, and I was in, theater in grade school. So I first started with that, and I just kind of fell in love with being on stage. I thought it was really fun. There wasn't really a thought of television. I didn't even know you could act in video games way back when I was young. But for me, it just started all with theater, and I just got into it more and more. And I started doing less sports and more theater as I got older. And then from there, it kind of became, okay, I've always done the stage. Now, what else can I do? Because I want to expand. And then I did my first feature film in Chicago. And that just made me go, okay, I want to do film. I want to do television. Like, how can I do this? And that made me move to California. And then from there, commercials, TV. And then all of a sudden, this world of video games and motion capture and voiceover just kind of opened up and kind of exploded for me. So it was really cool. But ultimately, you can ask anyone in my family. I've always been the entertainer. You put music on and I'm going to be singing along and dancing in front of like all the family and relatives at a party. I was always very outgoing in that way. Maybe a little dramatic. I don't know. If you ask my brothers and sister, like they might say I was a drama queen, possibly. But as I grew up, I realized I really loved the idea of entertaining people. I love the idea of people want to go see a film or want to go to the theater because they want to step away from their lives for a little bit. They want something else. They just want to forget about all the things going on, and they just kind of want to be taken to a different place for like an hour or two. And I loved the idea of I get to help create that for them. I get to help in the entertainment industry creating this art that people get to do that. They get to step away from whatever they're dealing with just for a little bit, for like that little bit of relief, and then they can go back. So I know I use entertainment in that way. And so I liked the idea of being able to be a part of that. So that's kind of what really kept me going in acting, even when the down times happen and you're not working or you're just not getting auditions. It's just that reminder of when I get the job, when I get the audition, it just makes me so happy. So it's like, okay, this is why I'm doing this. This is why I'm going to keep doing this.
Exactly. So the other question that I have is, I want to know about your influences. Which are your main actresses that influence you the most?
That's so hard. I know when I was younger, Nicole Kidman was a big influence for me. I just loved everything she did. I just thought she was so cool. And coming from, Australia and getting into the industry and the different things she did. So I always liked her, but honestly, I really originally wanted to start in comedy. So Lucille Ball was like the ultimate icon, and Gilda Radner. Those two were like my ultimate icons. And I started in theater, and I did a lot of children's theater, which was super silly, super over the top. I did lots of character stuff. So that's how I actually started acting. And I thought that that's what I'd continue to do. I guess casting directors had a different choice for me. So not as much of the comedy happened. I end up getting cast a lot more in dramatic roles or horror type roles, but I love it all. So I'm totally okay with that.
I know that you are a horror movie fan. Which are your top 5 horror movies?
Oh, goodness. Okay, so definitely like the original Friday the 13th. So Jason Voorhees, always love that. And I love the original one because of the twist. Like, you're just assuming it's Jason the whole time, and the whole mother twist is like the best thing ever. So I love Friday the 13th. I also really appreciate that the movie started as full horror and then went to campy horror. So it's kind of fun that way.
I have a question. Do you live close by the lake, right?
I live in Crystal Lake, but I actually live in Crystal Lake, or I'm originally from Crystal Lake, Illinois.
Okay.
So technically it's different, but it's still Crystal Lake. So Jason holds a special place in my heart. And my brothers all grew up playing hockey. So then we have the hockey link. So a little bit of everything. What else? Oh, I really like Freddy, because of course, Nightmare on Elm Street, the whole idea. And what I love about Freddy is that all of those movies, I mean, they from the get-go started campy. Like right away, it was, we know what we're going to do. We're going to scare you, but we're going to make it kind of ridiculous. But the idea of getting you in your dreams is terrifying. So I love Freddy. Halloween, Michael Myers, classic. I'm a big, I love the like 70s, 80s classics. But then when it comes to new, I love Poltergeist. Poltergeist is definitely way up there because of the more ghost aspect and the psychological. And then the newer ones, I love The Conjuring. I love hauntings. Like, things with hauntings are so great. So The Conjuring is really cool. I really, really like those.
How did you get the role of Mia Winters in Resident Evil 7? And how was your experience making that game?
The experience was amazing. It was so much fun. It was, I've never done any video games, and I've never done any motion capture or voiceover. So it was a completely new experience for me. But what was really cool is motion capture kind of melds theater and film into one. So I got kind of the best of both worlds in getting to do this video game. So the overall experience was just amazing. And the cast for both games, so talented, but also so down to earth and kind. So that was really, really cool. When it came to me actually getting the role, at the time, I didn't have an agent. So I was doing a lot of self-submissions. I was doing a lot of just researching and kind of doing stuff online, seeing what roles I fit and submitting myself and hoping that they liked, my picture, my headshot, and my resume. And so on one of the casting sites, I saw a video game. They were looking for, a Caucasian female, 5'7", to play demonic possessed. So I was like, okay, I like playing those type of characters, and Caucasian, 5'7", I fit it. Let's do this. So I submitted myself, and fairly quickly after I submitted myself, I got an email saying they want me to come in for an audition. And so I actually went to the motion capture studio, and it was an in-person audition. And this is back in 2014. So went there. It was all a lot of improvisation. They they gave me a scenario. They wanted to hear different noises I could make to scare people. They basically said, okay, you're in a pitch black room and somebody's on the other side, and we want you to slowly work your way towards them, scaring them. Like, what would you do if you were slowly making your way, getting closer and closer to somebody who can't see you, doesn't know you're there? What would you do to scare them? So that was it. Like, I was on all fours, I was crawling, I was growling, I was making creepy noises. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. The most physical audition I've ever had. That's for sure. And then the next day I got a call back to audition for the normal version. So first they saw Possessed, then they brought me back to see if I could be normal and be normal lady.
Exactly.
So luckily I could do both.
And the first thing that it did was the kitchen, right? The demo.
Yeah. So the first thing in, I believe it was January of 2015, we shot the kitchen demo. So we were a couple of days on set doing that. And at the time they kind of said, okay, this might be the only thing we do. It might be a full game. We'll reach out to you if we decide to do the full game. So I was like, okay. So I just did the demo. We were told it was going to be for VR, which was very new. And we had to shoot it a lot of different ways because they were trying to figure out the best way to scare people. If people are just sitting in a chair and everything's happening around them, what's the best way to scare? What are the things to do to scare? So that was really fun, getting to figure out the different ways to do things. And ultimately, I got to watch when E3 came out with the demo. I got to watch online and see people's reactions to it. And for me, that was the most fun, seeing grown men scream and throw the headset off, like not want to do it because I was scaring them. So for me, that was like the best feeling in the whole world.
Next question is, do you use any vocal technique when Mia turned into this evil woman?
Part of it is noises that I've always done. Since childhood, like always loved making different character voices and doing different things. And then as I got older, I really enjoyed playing zombies. So I kind of got really good at zombie noises and zombie breathing. And that's a lot of what I pulled in for Mia. And then on top of it, it just was basically dropping my voice. So instead of a regular speaking voice, it's more of a guttural. So it goes all the way down into your gut. So when I'm screaming things, everything drops down octaves and it goes into the gut. But I did have to be careful because I did that stuff not fully understanding. So I did strain my throat quite often until I really kind of learned what I needed to do, how I needed to reach that deeper voice without just using, the throat. Because if anybody tries it without knowing what they're doing, you'll scratch the heck out of your throat. And then next thing you know, you can't talk for 3 days. So I had a lot of teaching, figuring out how to do things, what I needed to work on. But ultimately it came down to just like, you can almost feel the voice in your chest and down into your stomach. And that's the deep one that comes out. That's that evil, scarier, monstrous voice that just comes out.
It's okay. It's okay. It's me. I know you didn't mean to hurt me. You shouldn't have done that. It's fucking hard.
The next question that I have is how it was working with Todd Soley, the voice of Ethan Winters in RE7.
Todd's amazing. He's such a talented actor. I was very lucky that I was cast as Mia and did the kitchen demo before Todd was brought in. So there was no Ethan yet. That was like a completely separate thing. So they gave me a call saying, we're going to make it into a full game. We'd like you to come in to audition possible Ethans. So I actually got to go in and read with a couple of different actors, and Todd being one of them. And right off the bat, you know, we hit it off. We had good chemistry, we got along, and then they ultimately chose him. And when we started working, we just kind of clicked. We're both originally from the Midwest. So we always kind of had this Midwest vibe, which helped. We would always joke around about football because he's from Michigan and Detroit, and I got Chicago, and we got rivalries going. So we could always goof off on our downtime. And so I think all of those little things helped with our chemistry, helped make us very comfortable, because some of the scenes are really weird and all over the place. And then some of them get, especially in 8, the scenes become so much more down to earth and emotional. So I think just that relationship that we built and that friendship we built through 7 really helped in 8, because I think you just felt so much more for Ethan and Mia when it came to 8. And I think that's a lot of what we went through shooting and becoming friends throughout 7. So he's so talented to work with. I give him such props because not only was he the voice, but he did the motion capture. But because of how 7 and 8 are shot, it's all in first person. So Ethan is basically the player. So Todd was our camera. And that's what a lot of people I don't think fully realize, is he had to do the voice. He had to do all the acting, all while being our camera. So he had to always make sure to be focused in the correct place, so that ultimately when it becomes the game, the player gets the full experience. So I give him props, because I had a hard time at first getting used to the motion capture and, you know, the world that we are in and what we can do with our bodies and what we can't, because you have, you know, all these sensors being picked up. And if you cover a sensor, all of a sudden all the data's lost and you got to redo the entire scene. So it's difficult. I didn't realize it until I was on set. So
yeah, it's kind of like mocap is kind of like theater. You have to do the whole scene.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it was great because we would do all the scenes, you know, lines and all. And then later, if some lines they couldn't quite hear, or if they wanted to change some lines or add things, then we'd go into the booth later and do ADR. But because we had already performed it, we already kind of knew the level we needed to reach. We had footage we could watch to try to match things. So it actually kind of made it a little bit easier going into ADR and doing that extra voiceover stuff, because we had done it on the stage once already. So that was a neat experience, and not everybody gets that. A lot of times the motion capture actor is different than the voice actor. So many a times there are different actors doing different parts. So I was very lucky that I got to do the motion capture, the facial capture, and the voice, which, you know, it's such an experience that not a lot of people get. So I was very, very lucky.
Can you tell us which scene from RE7 was your favorite to make and why?
Ooh, there are a lot of really fun ones from 7. I definitely loved the chainsaw scene with Ethan. I think the reason I really liked that scene as a whole is because it's really the first time that you see Mia go from completely normal to crazy. And it's all done right there. Like you see the change happen. And I think it's the first time you really have that like terrifying moment of what is wrong with this woman. Until then, she just seems very confused. But that's the moment you realize something is severely wrong. So I really liked that, and the fact that they gave me a motion capture chainsaw that I actually got to use on set. So I got to like drag it and play with this motion capture chainsaw. So that was really, really fun. But I also really like doing this scene with Sarah Coates, Marguerite, where we're under the house. and she catches me and like drags me away as I'm screaming. That was a lot of fun too. Because when Sarah becomes Marguerite, she is terrifying.
So scary.
So scary.
So scary, yeah.
And she's the nicest person in real life. And then she does that voice and it's like,
wow. Amazing. I remember the game, you know, she's the lady with the box.
Yep.
Yep. So scary.
Not fun.
How was your reaction when you get the call to make Resident Evil Village?
Oh, I was in shock for sure. One of the producers called me and, you know, she was really sweet and she just was like, we're doing Resident Evil 8 and Mia's still alive and we'd like you to come back and reprise your role. And I was definitely in shock at first because it's something you hope for when you're not killed off in a game. You hope that maybe in the future something might happen. So when I got that call, it was very exciting. And then she told me Todd was coming back as Ethan and that we were going to be having a daughter in it. And, you know, that's all she really knew at the time. And she was really cool. She's like, I don't know how big or small the role will be, but there's definitely something and they want you. And I was like, I think I didn't even really think about it. I just said yes. I just like right away was like, yes, send me any of the paperwork. Yes, I'll do it. I'm there. So it was just exciting. And then I got to work on it a little bit in 2019. Oh God, yeah, 2019. So I started working on it in 2019. And the first scene we shot was the scene from the trailer. And I didn't know that wasn't really Mia. Like I thought they were killing me off right away. So I was really excited to be on set and meet the new actors and see some of the old actors. But at the same time, I was really bummed because I'm like, they're just killing me off. I'm not going to get to do any more work. But I fairly quickly realized and was told that that's not the case. So I was very grateful. I loved the twist and I was very grateful to come back, but I was even more grateful that was not me in the beginning.
Yeah. Well, it's an incredible game. Resident Evil 8 Village is amazing.
I'm excited to start. I'm going to do Resident Evil 7 first, and then I'm going to play Resident Evil 8. So I haven't done it, but I've watched speed runs and I've watched a couple of playthroughs of Village, and I love where they went with the story. I love the dark fairy tale feel to it, the darkness, the Tim Burton kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Love it. Like, I think it's visually gorgeous. And then the world they created and all the new characters that came in, I just think are so cool. So I'm like, I was very, very excited to become a part of Village. It was really exciting.
Awesome.
All clear. Come on, move! Chris? What the hell? Take him away.
In life and in death, we give glory. The bell tolls for us all. They're coming again!
Mia.
Quit being so paranoid. Long ago, a young girl went with her mother to pick berries for her father, who was hard at work.
But the forest greeted them with a dark, cold silence. The bushes empty. Yet determined to find the berries, the rascal broke free of Mother's grasp and vanished into the trees. Mother's worried cries faded fast as the girl ran on, over vine, under branch, and into the forest deep. It's just a local tale.
If it's just looking, window shop away.
So this is actually the first time in the history of this country that somebody is making an interview with one of the main characters of Resident Evil. So it's gonna
Yay! Oh, I'm so excited. I'm glad to be a part of it.
And obviously I'm a huge fan of Resident Evil 7, and I mean, there's a lot of people who really love this game. One of them is myself. and other people that they didn't like it that much. But I think the only way to get the real experience of that game is playing or using the VR.
Yep.
That's gonna change your point of view.
I agree.
The point of view of that game. And it has been a tremendous honor for me making this interview and meeting you.
Thank you again so much for reaching out. I love doing this. I love meeting fans and coming on and just, talking all things RE, which is so much fun.
Of course. So once again, thank you for everything, Katie. It was a tremendous honor for me. And we keep in touch, okay?
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much again. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you. All right.
Bye.
Bye.